Coming back, Mike.
Okay, did I lose all you guys?
We lost you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you did. All of us.
okay. Because I could hear you guys, but my computer wasn't reacting, so I closed up the analysis and
We
it's
couldn't hear
more
you.
okay. It's more responsive now. Okay, we are recording. We actually lost the beginning of that recording. Okay, now let's go back to sharing this thing. So let's see. Why don't you guys mute yourselves, and then if you need to talk, then hit the space button. Okay.
Let me show you.
Huh?
You may show you. Show your picture.
No.
Raise your hand.
Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, I think we're all back. Okay. So so let's do this part again because it didn't convert or didn't record. So put yourself in your opponent's shoes. Actually, where did I lose you guys? Or where did you lose me?
Woolsey's Law.
Woolsey Law. Okay. So Kit Woolsey says this is something that when he thought about it and he started using it, his success went way up in backgammon. And let's put yourself in your opponent's shoes and answer the question, if I were doubled, would I take? There's three categories this could be in. If the answer is absolutely take, then it's probably not a double. Okay. If the answer is absolutely not, then this is probably a double. And the caveat is it could be too good a double, and maybe you should plan for a gammon. And the key to this is the third part. If the answer is I don't know, then double. Let your opponent worry about it. Maybe it's not a proper double. It's not good enough to double yet, but your opponent will drop it. And that happens. I mean, as you guys have started doubling more often, you've seen that. And you've seen that your opponents are a little more, they drop these and you're a little bit surprised sometimes, right? Especially if they're worried about the gamut, or worried about getting gamut. So that third part right there, I don't know, then double. That's the revolutionary part of Kit Woolsey's law.
Mike, did you say that only applies to money?
Applies to both, okay? But it applies differently, a little bit differently, right? Differently in the sense that your goal lines are not like a regular football field and you're looking at something around 75% line adjusting for gamuts. Okay? When in match score situations, you're playing towards different goal lines, right? You're trying to win the match. Okay? So you're answering the same question, but you're looking at it a little bit different, making adjustments. Okay, so we'll talk about that with the four-way. Okay. So are we better at deciding when to take or drop when we're cubed, when that cube is offered to us, than when we are when to double in the first place? So are we better at figuring out when to double, or better at thinking about taking or dropping? And I know that in my case, I am much better at figuring out when it's right to take or drop. And most of you guys have some kind of analysis software now, either BG Blitz or XG. And if you look at uh, your mistakes in the summary, you'll find that make a lot more mistakes than when to double, maybe. And usually it's for you guys, it's not doubling when you should be, right? Versus when you take or drop, that you tend to get better or get more correct more quickly, more often, right? And I know it's definitely the case for me. And so that means that if I, in my case, apply Woolsey's law, or if you guys in your cases apply Woolsey's law, then all of our cube actions should improve. So when you're cognizant of Woolsey's law, you start to apply it, your cube action will improve. Sometimes for me, when I forget to use Woolsey's law, I miss cube opportunities, right? So one thing that used to be used is Pratt. So how many of you guys have never heard Pratt before? Yeah, okay,
I never heard of it.
okay. So it's something they used to use to decide when to double or not. Actually, some people still do use this, right? Pratt, the acronym, whatever it's called, the abbreviation or the whatever PRAT is, stands for P stands for position, R stands for race, and T stands for threats. Okay, position, race, and threats. So what's good for is it makes you think about the strength of your position. Okay, you look at each of these individual things and you say, okay, my position is pretty good relative to our opponent. We're ahead in the race, and we've got some good threats. So this doesn't quite work, right? Race is usually it's good to be ahead, right? And that's especially in the case where we're playing a racing game versus a racing game. But we know that it isn't always the case, right? You can think about some priming game situation where it's not right, where you actually want to be behind in the race. Okay. The T for threats seems to apply to attacking game plans, where you threaten to blitz them, but it applies to all game plans. For example, it can apply to a priming game plan when you threaten to develop a strong prime, or it can apply to a content game plan on the verge of a hit. And what the threat part, the T part, helps us, what it's good for, is to help us think about market losers. Because if we didn't have threats, then we probably wouldn't have market losers, which means that we probably shouldn't be doubling. Okay, so you guys know what market losers are? So that's when we go from our doubling situation, or maybe not quite good enough to double, to too good. And we should be, we've lost our market. So that's a market loser. And remember, that's a sequence of two. Not only just what are the good rolls for us right now, but also what happens after we roll and then they roll. Because we don't get to decide about the doubling until after our turn and then their turn, and then again, right? So it's not just, are we going to roll something really, really good, but how well do they roll against us? So that's what a market loser is, right? Going from a no double to a double drop in one turn sequence. So, okay, remind me to come back to O'Hagan's law. I don't know if I did the slide on O'Hagan's law. Let's talk about it right now, just in case. Okay, market losers. A while ago, a long time ago, Bill Roberti had a position where he said, this position only has maybe 3 or 4 market losers, so not enough to double. Now, the position isn't volatile enough to put you into a situation where you've lost your market. So it was John O'Hagan that started thinking, well, how much is enough? And he's a mathematician. What he came up with is that if you have, oh no, okay. Not now. Let's say yes so they can get rid of it. Okay. He found that there are 9 net market losing sequences that you have enough to be able to double. Okay. So, sorry, Are you guys seeing the toolkit thing? No.
No.
Okay. Share. Okay. But that doesn't quite work. It's like trying to put a round peg into a square hole. So Wilcox Snellings suggested maybe we need to add S for the score of the match. Remember our mantra? See what you guys can see here. Yeah, on your list too. Okay. Maybe we need to add S to the front of that thing because our mantra is consider the match score, look at the game plans, consider the cube, and roll the dice and find the best move. Right? So he suggested this right here. This does improve it when we're trying to figure out whether we should double or not, but we still have the round peg in the square hole. Okay, so let me make an apology to Jane. I purposely did not put a lot of graphics in this one right here, but because I wanted to go on over concepts, and we will have a lot more graphics next time around. Our next lesson will be about, I think it's our final one. Is that right, you guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Next week is the last, yeah.
So it'll be putting it all together, right? Putting together when we look at our mantra, finding the best moves, for example, that applied to our not only our game plans, what's the best one for our game plan, but also when it comes to cube action. Okay, so putting all that together. So what's our mantra? Match score, have a plan, consider the cube, and find the best move, right? And this whole semester, we focused on the mantra, the methodology of our mantra. Okay? Match score, have a plan, consider the cube, find the best move. So if you follow this mantra, you'll play a much better game of backgammon. And a lot of what decision analysis, remember the lecture that, or the seminar, the presentation that Frank Frigo did? He talked about decision analysis. He didn't talk about our mantra, but he was talking a lot about this. And if we teach him our mantra, it'll actually improve a couple of his decision analysis criteria. Okay. So I want to get to the point where I want to talk to him about that. Okay. So when we add our great game plans to our mantra, that implies, okay, we look at the score for the match. We look at not only our game plan, but their game plan and how those match up. Then we look at the cube, and then we find the best move. Okay. So mantra plus game plan. So for example, if we're playing a racing game versus a racing game, the race is important, right? We look at PRAT. Because in the racing game, we want to be ahead. In an attacking game versus a racing game plan, the race is important. We want to be ahead because we want to be able to bring more checkers into the fray. And if we keep getting checkers hit and sent back, then we'll lose our standing in the race, and we won't be able to continue the attack. Okay? And if we're playing an attacking game versus their priming game, if the priming game is not yet fully developed, then the race again is important, and we want to be ahead. But the priming game is different. It's a little bit special. Against all other game plans, this is where the PRAT starts to break down, or SPRAT. Because in a priming game, we often want to be behind in the race so we can hold our structure, our position, our prime. Right? Because once we get to the position where we make them crash, then our winning chances go up. Okay, so for example, in a priming game versus priming game, we want to be behind the race because we don't want to be the one that whose position collapses and ends up with a crash board. So similarly with a contact game plan. In a back game, which means multiple anchors, right? More than one anchor inside our opponent's board. We want to be far behind in the race. So if we're playing a 1-2 back game, we have anchors on both their 1 and their 2 point. Then we've got to be really far behind in the race. And the farther back, the better. So Mochi has that table in his book, Backgammon Masterclass. And it shows that you want to be at least 8 steps behind. So he did that kind of by experience. He sort of guessed at a number. And that's kind of the minimum. Better to be 100 or maybe 150 behind. And you have a better game.
So Mike, would Pratt still be applicable if you rethought what you mean by race as opposed, it usually means are you ahead, but if what you mean by race is are you doing the appropriate thing for your game plan, then does it apply?
It would do a better job of applying. And we could use it, right? But I think we can come up with something better. So that will be next slide. Okay. So one type of contact game plan is a holding game. So that's where maybe you have a high anchor or even a middle anchor in your opponent's board. And in that case, the race is neither good nor bad, because to win this type of contact game plan, you can either win the race, right? So it's good to be close in the race, or you can hit a blot or generate a blot, hit the blot, and then contain it, right? That's our formula for winning a contact game plan. Either win the race or blot, hit, and contain. So can we do better than Sprat? Okay. And I think we can. We have 3 offensive game plans, right? The racing, the attacking, and the priming. We have a defensive one, the contact, which we need to take into account when we look at our total equity. Because any of these if they go wrong, we could turn into playing a contact game plan. Right? So if we look at these three game plans against their game plans, and if we have a significant advantage in 2 out of the 3, then there's a good chance we have a double. Okay? So not quite the same as Pratt, but in terms of game plans. Okay? And
But Mike, so what are you saying? You're saying if we have an advantage in 2 of the 3 game plans?
right.
Okay,
Okay.
I see.
So, because a lot of these game plans, like, if we start off with a 3-1 or 4-2, those are probably going to be better for priming. But they could develop, and especially after let's say we make the rack, we have 6, 5, and 4 points made. Those could be two-way games. They could be attacking games, or they could be priming games. Right? And again, those are the most potent, right? But if we just in big broad generalities, if we look at these 3 game plans and we are in better shape than our opponent, significantly better than our opponent in 2 of these 3, then maybe we have a double. Okay. So that's one way to look at this. Instead of Sprat, look at our game plans that we're involved with. But then we need one more thing to make it a double. We need the threats. We need to have market losers. Okay, so this is a different way of looking at it. And so important enough that I need to see your faces. Is this does this make sense to you guys? Right? Because we use Sprat for a long time. Right? And since we started thinking in terms of game plans, maybe the game plan is a better way to help us decide when to cube or not. And I think it is. Okay. Okay, I'm going back to the slide show, unless you guys have any questions about that so far.
I think it would help to see an example of
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it would.
all right.
But there are a lot of examples, and what I want to do actually, I mean, the optimal thing is to do this the way that we're doing it right now, and then go back and throw in examples. But there are a lot of examples for all these things, right? So that's kind of why I'm not doing it with examples right now. Right? So let's get to the 4-way, 2-way special score, and that'll give you some concrete examples. Okay. So I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry, Jane. No graphics, no very few examples here. Okay. Um, okay. The 4-way, 2-way is it's an instructive score. Okay. And it amplifies a couple things. One thing it amplifies is the value of the cube to your opponent. If you cube them, they have no value in the cube. They can't recube you because they return it to 4, and there's no advantage since they only need 2 points. There's no advantage for them to turn it back to 4. So no recube value, and that's what's one of the key points at 4-way, 2-way. And then think about the gammons. Winning a gammon means nothing to them, but it means everything to us. Right? We go from winning a playing game and being 50% in the match to winning a gammon and being 100% in the match. We won the match. So this is why we're looking at 4-way, 2-way, even though it is a special score. Again, in summary, we look at cube value to our opponent after sending it, and we consider the value of winning gammons. So these are the 2 concepts we need to consider in any match score when doubling. So not only the threats will tell us when to actually do it, the volatility position, but also, well, most importantly, look at the value of the cube and look at the value of winning gammons and losing gammons, right? So when you look at money versus tournaments at 4-way, 2-way, or money versus a tournament score 4-way, 2-way, at money, you have positions where it might even be a double yet, but at this match score 4-way, 2-way, those become passes where it's, not even double, but it already becomes a pass. And, that's that cube value and gammon situation changes it. Okay, so let's go look at how weak we can be and still be able to double it 4-way, 2-way. So okay, you guys can see a blank board now, right? Good. Okay, so starting, I gotta hide this bar again. So in this position, and let's say we open something like a 3-1. And that's our best roll, right? Now, if they roll, make a point also, and there's 2 good things that can happen inside the opening phase. Make points or you can hit blocks. So the best thing that could happen with them is maybe they can make a point. Well, let's say they make a 5-3. So they make a point, but it's not as good as ours. This is no way to double money, right? Can we double this at 4-way, 2-way? Score, stop this thing. Yes, I want to stop that. Four-point match. We need four points, and let's say they already have 2 points. Can we double this right here? 4-way, 2-way. Is this strong enough already to double? Right? Not even a double for money, but this is already a double take. So I hope this is taking the foundation of your world right now. So that's pretty much true for something like a 4-2 also, and they make a point that isn't as good as our point. That it can still be a cube, even making this point right here, right? But it's closer. Okay. So all of the 3.3, when we roll 3, 1, or 4, 2 to open, and we make our make an interbar point, if they counterpoint, then and that point isn't as strong as ours, then let's go this right here, right? Then in that case, we saw with the 5-3 of their counterpoint, we can still double, they can take. But here they have a point that is just as good as ours. So no double take, right? Whereas in all these cases with money, these are not even close to being doubles. Okay? So what about when they respond with a 6-5? Would this be a double for money? Let's do it by comparison. I should be doing it by comparison. What do you think about money? I think it's not even close.
Oh,
No, not close, right? It'd be a big blunder to double this. But what happens when we look at match score? At 4-way, 2-way. They've done something good. They rolled a natural. And so they ran it with lover's leap. But they haven't made a point and they haven't hit a blot. So even this is good enough to double at 4-way, 2-way. Even this is good enough to double. Okay. So that theme is kind of strange, right? That seems really early. What if they, they respond double 5s? For money, is this a double? No, not even close, right? But again, this would be a triple whopper if you double them and they took. Your bare favorite here. But what happens at the score of 4-way, 2-way? Think this might be good enough? They made a point. They got a lot of pips in the race. But look, it's somewhat the same situation where they made an interboard point, but it's not as good as ours. So this is again a double at 4-way, 2-way, where it wouldn't even be anywhere close to being a double for money. So what about any point followed by a split? And there are a ton of these examples we can do right here, right? So let's reopen let's make it a 3-1. And they open with a split. Properly, they should be splitting, like with a 3-2 maybe. Okay. Because we're starting to form a prime, and they want to step up to the edge of that potential prime. So with a 3-2, they need to split. That's the right thing to do. Okay. So it's our roll now. Do you think this is a double for money? No, 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 no. But what about for match play at 4-way, 2-way? You think this might be a double? There's kind of a theme here, right? Yes, double, and it'd be a big error. It'd be a blunder, a whopper and a half to not double. Okay. So they need two. They have no cube equity. They have no value in owning the cube, and gammons are going to lose in the match. So it extends to us making any point followed by a split. So what does that mean? If we try something like a 6-2 and they split like this with a 3-2, which they shouldn't, right? Because well, they could, because it's not, we don't have enough builders to make it a real attacking game, but they are kind of splitting into our jaws right here. So for match play, we've made a point. It's a bit weaker though, the 2-point, and they split. And if we look at all these situations where we make a point and they split, then we're strong enough to double at this match score.
So is the reason why this works because you're taking away the value of gammons to them?
Right. The gammons and recube value. So both of those. They're not at this match score, they're not going to ship the cube back at you. Whereas for playing this for money, they'll have, it's still beginning of the game. They'll have a powerful, well, they'll have a recube, a very likely recube later on if they turn the thing around, right? So they can win the game by turning it around and getting the 75-yard line. But because they don't have a value of the cube, they can't use that cube to double us out. They have to go all the way to 100%. They have to go all the way into the end zone to win this thing. Okay. So those are the two big takeaways, right? Value of the recube and value of winning and losing gammons. So far, we make a point, like 3-1 point, 4-2 point, and they make a point, which is good, but it's not as strong a point as ours. We have a double at this match score. If we make a 5-point to the 4-point, and they run the 6-5, we've got a double already. If we make a point, like the 5-point to the 4-point, they will double 5s. We have a double. If we make any point followed by their split, we have a double. If they bring 2 down, do you think this is a double for us for money? I mean, if we're unlimited games for money, no. Right? Be a triple whopper. But what happens when it's this match score? Okay, so no double here, right? But it's getting close, right? So if instead, let's say we make this point right here, and we ask about the cube for a down situation. This is a double. Right? And so we know that if we play around with this some more, we make the 4-point or the 5-point instead. It should be a stronger double because we have a better point here, right? So not doubling would be more than a whopper. Okay. So any point that we make followed by, or from the 3-point up, maybe even the 2-point if I do it on a rollout, right? It's going to followed by 2 down. It's going to be a double for us already. So what if we bring 2 down? Let's go 3-4 maybe. And they roll something that misses us. Okay. So maybe they roll 5-4 or something. I'm sorry, not 5-4, something that misses us. 5-2, let's say. For money, this is not a double. We have a little bit of an advantage. We have better bill distribution to make our prime. But we don't have enough advantage to be able to double this thing. What about from the score of 4 away, 2 away? Can we double this already? We've improved our position a bit. And they haven't improved the position as much. And we already have a double. So we've brought 2 down. They missed us. We have a double. It turns out that the only opening roll that where are the checkers right here? Oh, were they? No, they were okay. Okay. The only opening roll that will not give us a cube next turn is 6-5 running. If we open with a 6-5, no matter what happens, we won't be able to cube them at this match score. So, out of curiosity, what do you think if white rolls a 2-1? How should they play a 2-1 here? How should white play a 2-1?
Split.
Split, okay. That's one possibility. And then the other possibility is
Slot.
slot, right? So this is something that kind of surprised me when I started studying this response to an opening roll. Because your goal now is they've escaped one checker, and you want to try to contain that checker. And I noticed that a lot of good players, were slotting. You know, you'd think, okay, let's split the back checkers to attack in the outfield. And I'm sure that was done for the longest time. Automatically split the back. But then when the bots came on the scene, they said, maybe it's better to slot instead. So it's better to do something that whenever you decide on a play you're going to make, right, then you need to do something that decisively improves your position. If you do something that's just kind of not here nor there, then you're not doing as well as you should be. So this guy's saying right here for X, actually is saying split. And then it has these two, which improve your chance of hitting out there. And it has the slot way back down here. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's look at it. I'm sorry. We're supposed to be looking at it for money. But again, match score, 4-way, 2-way changes things a lot. So we'll look at the same sort of thing at when we switch the match scores. We're the one 2-way and they're 4-way. So we'll take a break after this. This part wasn't part of the original lesson, but it's kind of instructive here. So for money, our opponent rolls a 2-1. And the question is, how should they play that 2-1? Should they slot or should they split? And how's about that Jamie Ding?
Hey, Mike, you have two checkers born off here.
Oh, that's important. Yeah, let's no wonder it's taking so long to do this.
But Jamie Ding is very impressive.
Yes, yes. So who is the um let's see, money play match. Who has the record for the most number of games won in Jeopardy?
Is it Ken Jennings? I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
And when Jackie asked me yesterday, I told her 74 in a row. And she thought I was lying to her because she was impressed with Jamie Ding winning 19 in a row. And but he still has a way to go to catch Ken Jennings.
That's the way. Yeah.
But even with Ken's 74 match winnings streak, he's not the all-time money winner on Jeopardy. Brad Rutter has that because they've had special matches where there's big money involved, and he's won more of those. So even though Ken Jennings won $2.5 million in his 74
Wow.
streak, right? Brad Rutter has more. Okay, so we're looking at with all the checkers on the board because this is the way it's supposed to be. For unlimited, so for money, what should 2-1 do after the other player escapes the checker? So just in terms of terminology, this is what has become known as half freedom, partial freedom. And when both of those checkers are escaped to safety, that's considered full freedom. Because one of the tactical things that happens in the game, one thing that can make you a bigger favorite is having escaped both your back checkers. Your opponent can no longer contain that checker. Right? So these two guys are close right here, right? Slotting and splitting. We know the rationale for splitting, hit in the outfield, and we know the rationale for slotting, right? Making that blocking structure contain that back checker. Okay, so this is one thing that surprised me a lot when I saw good players starting to do this. Slot instead of the conventional thinking to split in the back.
Is this for the match play, the two-way, four-way, or
So
just normal?
that's normal. So let's switch it up for match play. That's we've run 6-5. Our opponent rolls a 2-1. And they have 0 points, so they need 4. We need 2 points. What do you think is going to happen? Well, let's say this. In general, if you're behind the match, when you're deciding whether to make a splitting play versus a 2-down play, also a splitting play versus a slotting play, if you're behind the match, you normally want to play a little more aggressively by choosing the slotting play or choosing the 2-down play. 2-down will more likely lead to priming games, which is better for you as a trailer. More volatility, more ways to win, more useful gammons. And same sort of thing with slotting. Right? So here, where you need 4, they need 2, it becomes even stronger to make this play right here, to slot versus split. Okay. Even stronger. Okay. Okay. Questions about any of that stuff without graphics, much graphics? Okay, you've got about 5 minutes to think about questions, and we'll go to the next part. Okay, so what time is it now? 9:57. So a couple of minutes after 10, be back.
Hi, Alan. You're unmuted, but you're beating me very badly on our games. I'm gonna have to make a comeback today.
Are you coming today?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have some fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you beat me a couple of weeks ago, remember?
Oh gosh. I know, but isn't it 4-0 right now?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
The backgammon is interesting in that way. There's a lot to learn, really.
I know, I know. My mom was visiting me. And she used to play backgammon, with me and my dad when I was 12, like, a long time ago. And I said, I have a
Yeah,
backgammon game if you want to play. And then she said, oh, no, I can't play you. Like, I told her she could come play, like, with everyone.
right.
And she's like, I'm not good, blah, blah. I said, there's all different levels. It doesn't matter. And I played her and she beat me like 2 out of 3 games.
Oh,
And
wow.
then she was
You
like,
remember how to
wow, I
play.
thought you were good. That's what she said. I'm like, oh, great, thanks.
Yeah.
But she was like the double queen. She kept rolling like double sixes, double fives, double threes,
Well, it
some,
makes it easier to win when you do that, of course.
yeah. Are you coming today, Ed?
Yes.
Oh, Subu,
Even with your jet lag, right?
are you gonna come today,
Yeah.
Subu?
Yes.
I think Sabu said she's not coming.
Oh, you're on mute.
On mute.
Subu, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm not decided now because it has stopped raining. But
Yeah.
initially it was raining here quite badly. So I was thinking,
Kailua, there's no rain yet. Today
no
it's
rain?
no rain. No.
Yeah,
We're waiting for the rain.
yeah. Lucky you guys over there, so near.
Yeah, I walked on the beach this morning. It was quite nice.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, I would like to, but it still doesn't look really good, the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
It's supposed
sort of
to
cloudy.
get worse tonight, but we'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
Ed and Kathy have to come so they could stay awake.
Maybe we
Yeah,
can beat you.
yeah, I don't know how effective we'll play a game, but
About a week ago, I was in California for a week and it's only 3 hours. And it's amazing how hard it is to just for 3 hours. So I can imagine you guys are probably more.
Okay. Oh, what am I missing in the chat here?
Well, Alan's beating me in backgammon 4-0. Kathy and Ed are gonna have a disadvantage today from jet lag, so they're the ones to play if you want to have a disadvantage.
Okay, so is that 4-0 score, the one away with a 5-point match? 5 point?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it Crawford right now? It must be, right?
Actually, I think it's 4-1 right now, isn't it?
4-1, yeah.
Yeah,
4-1.
so it's not Crawford anymore.
Okay, so you know what the doubling strategy is, right? What is Alan's doubling strategy?
Not to double
Not to double. What's your doubling strategy?
as soon as possible.
Right. And what's his take strategy?
It's drop, Alan.
I can't say yeah for sure.
So remember, it was a free take, free drop situation, right?
Yeah.
When he goes to his, maybe, you think about what his chances of winning, how does that change the number of games he has to win? And if it goes from a situation where he wins the game and wins 2 points, or I'm sorry, you win the game and win 2 points, versus he drops it and there's almost no difference, and he should be taking
Yeah.
that, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at Whoops, no, I actually want to share something else, don't I? I want to share the whole screen. Then switch to this guy. Okay. And hide these floating point things. Okay. So we looked at some situations where our advantage wasn't that much inside a money game, but because of the match score, it became strong doubles, or just at least doubles, right? So we looked at a situation where we made a point and they either split or they ran, and we had doubles. We considered our advantage when we brought two down. They didn't hit us or they didn't roll doubles. Well, I didn't do the doubles part, but take my word for it. And we consider our advantage if we split. Well, let's look at that. If we split, let's see. Okay, what's going on? We start all over again. I'm going to go to 0, 2, and we rolled, we split, okay? So let's say we played 3, 2. Like this right here. And what can they do after this? They might hit us. We have to look at all the different responses right here. Just realize I don't want to go through all of those, but the point is how much have we improved our position? How much have they improved the position? And if it is a little bit on both sides, but we have a little bit more of an advantage, and at this score, 4-way, 2-way, we can have a double. And if we improve greatly and they just don't really improve at all, it could already be a double drop. Okay. So I'll leave this for now. Now look at the situation where they split. Let's say they roll 5-4. And then we roll something like double threes. Okay, you guys know how to play this for money, right? And XG knows how to play too. It does it really quickly. It says attack 2. This is the best play right here. All right. So what happens if they do split? We roll doubles, and let's say they dance. Now what happens at this match score? No? For money, do we have a cube? Even though the checker's way back here, and it's not as subject to being attacked as much as we're further up, and maybe the spare checker were up here, it's still a double. But what about the match score of 4-way, 2-way? Is this a double? Well, we know that for money it's a double. And so we know that it's going to be a double for this match score. And in fact, they should be passing this already. Okay. If they take it, look what they've done to our chances here. Way, 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 way up. So looking at these four-way two-ways, when we have money situations, well, first of all, if we look at money situations, and these are not even doubles yet, you have the four-way two-ways match score. They can be doubles already. If we made a small improvement and they have made no improvement, or made a big improvement, they made a small improvement. Either way, our improvement's better than theirs. It almost always puts us in a situation where we can double. And in a situation where this is a double take for money, here, because we've improved so much, they split, we rolled double threes and pointed on them, they danced, then it's already a double pass of this match score. Okay. So there's still a cube I really need to look at in my Meisterschaft match. I think it was like the score is like 4-3 to 11. And I took it because I thought I had enough winning chances. And I think I maybe underestimated the gammon chances. So it went from 2 to 4. Right? He redoubled me to 4. And I lost the match with losing a gammon. So he got 8 points. So that one's going to remain in my memory banks for a while. Or figure out why my thinking went wrong. Okay. So this sort of thing applies at four-way, two-way, but it also pretty much applies at four-way, three-way, right? And three-way, two-way also.
What about if you have the 7 point and they do the lover's leap? Would that be a double?
You have 7 point, they have a lover thing. So let's see. I'm this thing again. So we have it. So we would open with a 6-1 maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So here they cannot make the
Well, I mean, let's see, wait a minute. So they opened with the lover's leap and then you had a 6-1. Oh, okay, well, never mind. Then they have another roll, then you have another roll, so that's a moot point. Never mind.
Okay, so we want to go back to the slideshow. Do this right here. So all those examples where we have a much stronger cube because of the match score. And so in general, think about how each of your positions have improved. If your position's improved little and theirs not at all, it could be a double take. And if you've improved a lot and theirs not at all, it could be a double drop even. And we showed that 6-5 is the only opening roll where no matter what happens, we won't have a double. Even though it's a natural and it's good for the race, it doesn't build a point. It doesn't hit a checker. And in general, since we're not going to go over all match scores, the two important things to think about are the value of the cube to your opponent and the value of gammons for both of you. Okay. And then next step is to think about the recubes. So let's say somebody's winning and they only need 2 points. Let's see. I'm trying to stop the share essentially, right? Okay. Let's say it's two-way, four-way. You're the one leading. You're the one that need 2 points and they need 4 points. And that the leader doubles to 2. That's going to be an automatic recube, right? The trailer is going to ship it back to 4 and you're playing that game for that match. Okay. So we talked about all situations last time around. Well, that's what I wanted to queue up in the break and I forgot to do. Okay. Okay, one away post Crawford cube. The lead, this from last time around. The leader never doubles, right? There's no advantage for them to double. And then the trailer will double as soon as possible. And then similarly with the, okay, so with we already talked about this, right? Pre-take situation. We talked about rules to determine if you are the favorite. And so when you should be taking or dropping. I'm looking for the two-way scores. Well, let's just redo all real quick, okay? 25% is our normal take point, 22% chance, so there's a good chance you're gonna have a chance to use the cube later in the game, and then 18.75 is perfect cube efficiency. And you get full cube value after that. This is worth reviewing also. Last roll situation, right? High volatility right here, right? Either you're going to win the game or lose the game next turn.
Mike, are you showing a slide?
Oh,
We just see your handsome face.
oh gosh. Well, what are you complaining about then? Let's see. What am I showing? There's that. And this.
Yeah.
And do I have to do a reshare? Huh, don't I?
Okay. See you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you guys can see that now. Okay. After Crawford game, you're the leader. You never double. If trailer, you double ASAP. And you can, let's say it's one way, two way. If you can figure out whether you will have the advantage or not as the leader when your opponent doubles you. And we looked at situations where if you won the opening roll, you can take. You're the favorite. If you lost the opening roll, pass with 3 exceptions. If you can hit an outfield shot, if you point on their head, or if you have a really strong double roll, like double twos, double threes, double fours, or something. Right? We talked about the free take gambit, where if they don't know it, they have a free take, but they may not know that, and they will actually drop a cube they can take for free, basically, maybe 1 or 2% difference in equity. Right? So here they might have only they have less than 10% chance to win this thing, but white can double, and black should take it. So this is a normally 25% take point, 22% chance if you have can use the cube later in the game, and then 18.75% if you have perfect cube efficiency. This is a volatile last roll position. So volatile means maybe you should be thinking about doubling. In this situation, you're going to either win or lose, right? 19 ways win, 9%, 19 rolls win, 17 rolls lose. So you're 53, 47% favorite. And the cube has no value to your opponent, right? Because the game's going to be over after this turn. Okay? And if, let's say you don't get off on the 17 rolls, well, they're going to definitely win. So recubing won't matter anything at all. They'll recube you, and it's the same thing as just rolling the dice and winning. So we talked about this last roll situation because last rolls don't have to happen only at the end of the game in a bear off. You know, either black hits this turn and wins, or they miss and they get doubled out. We talked about this right here, two-way, just it can get more complex than this, but just at this level, just double your first opportunity. Okay? Even if you're the underdog, because the logic is that they will double you. If the cube's in the center and you're an underdog, they're going to double you, right? So you might as well double right away. That way you won't risk losing your market. Okay. And then two-way, larger away, maybe three-away, four-away, five-way side, the leader has to be more cautious about turning the cube. Because remember, when you do that, the cube's going to be sent back to you right away. If you own the cube at 2, you'll never double because the cube's worthless to you. You know, you already knew those 2 points to win. Recubing will not. Recubing will only give your opponent a chance to win the match, right? As a trailer, you double more quickly, and if you win enough gammons, then your opponent will probably drop. Right? Okay. So between, do we need to talk about this one right here? You have the two-way, the leader can win either by winning a gammon with the cube in the middle, or they can win a plain game with the cube at 2. So in the situations where you're 2 away and large away, so like 2 away, 9 away, and we're in a barrel situation, and your opponent actually has really low chances of winning, you've got a very narrow doubling window. You have to wait till you have a good chance of winning, higher than the normal 75% to be able to double them. And they can take it longer, right? But also, what they can do is, if you're the leader, they can make your gammons worth nothing at all by doubling you. Now you own 2 cube, you win a playing game, you're going to win the match. If you win a gammon, you haven't gained anything at all. In fact, if you try for a gammon and giving up some winning chances, you've lost. Right? Okay, so share. So I wanted to show that between what we talked about last time and the special case where we talked about 4-way, 2-way this time around, we basically have all the tools we need to think about all the other map scores. Okay. Scores like 5-away, 4-away, it can be a little more tricky. But if you think about the value of gammons to you and your opponent, that will give you an idea of what you should be doing with the cube. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Did I make it murky enough? Yes.
I had one question on the automatic redouble. You mentioned it briefly. Does that only happen if your opponent makes a mistake?
You mean the gambit of them dropping, or I don't understand what you're saying.
You said if it was a situation where someone offered you a cube and that it's an automatic redouble afterwards. Is that
Okay.
a situation that only happens if your opponent shouldn't have doubled you in the first place?
No. Sometimes it can be a double and a take and then a recube. So,
Okay.
and let's say you need 2 points, your opponent needs 4 points, and you double them. It could be a situation where they should be dropping and going to a situation where you need 1, they need 4. Right? or they can take, and when they take it, if they do choose to take it, if it is a proper take, maybe they can reship the cube right away, right back to you. So it could have been a proper cube from 1 to 2, needing only 2 points, but then your opponent, if they take it, has an automatic recube. Right, that can happen if the cube is at 4, maybe. They can automatically ship it back to 8. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the mistake is like when Ed's opponent in the Hawaii State Championships in December recubed when he really shouldn't have, because he already had enough points on the cube value to win the match. Right? It was something like that, right? He already owned the cube,
Right.
and then he shipped it back to 4 or something, and then you ship it right back to 8.
Right. And had I won that game, I would have won the match, but
Right.
he outplayed me.
Right. Well, maybe
Or he outrolled me.
well, maybe he probably outrolled you, right? But he obviously made a huge mistake by saying that cube back. But
Right.
he realized it right after he did it too. He kind of looked at,
Well, I jumped on it right away, but the dice didn't cooperate.
right. Yeah, in fact, you said, guy, trying to suggest to him, that he shouldn't have done that, right? Trying to be nice about it, but okay. So next time around, we're going to answer some questions like, when your opponent, or when somebody says, I would have made this move had the cube been in the middle. I would have made this move, a different move if the cube had been on your opponent's side or on your side. We'll answer that question. And we'll, with our mantra, have a look at the score, have a game plan, and look at their game plan, consider the cube, find the best move. All of it ties in together, right? Your best move will depend upon the match score and the game plans. Okay, so we'll try and tie all that together. Okay. Anything else? Okay. And I promise more graphics next time. I just wanted you guys to sort of think about these concepts right here, right? Instead of getting bogged down in this position and that. And there's really a lot of positions that you could use to illustrate each point. Right? Okay.
Right.
If not, you're going to have more time to get to Alan's or.
Yeah. You made it very clear today, so that was good. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alan, is that?
I see it was very clear the way you explained it. I mean, your explanations were very easy to understand.
Maybe you'll be in the minority with this, but it is.
We'll see. We can test it out today, right?
So I have a mahjong player, and I found out that he plays backgammon. He asked me, "You're the backgammon teacher too, right?" And he's doing really well at mahjong. But I asked him a little bit about what he's doing with backgammon, and he learned it from somebody, and then he's been watching Michi. So he's not the standard, learn it and play by the seat of your pants player. He seemed to have some concepts already. So he has the information for when we're meeting. And so he might, I don't know, he didn't respond yet to whether he's going to show up today, but he could show up today also.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be exciting to have somebody new playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Mike, I have a dumb question. Is Ichi the same person as Mochi?
Oh, no.
Okay, that's two different people. Okay.
So let's see. Share the screen again, right?
That's not a dumb question because I thought people were just pronouncing it different before.
Okay, so I think you guys know who Mochi is, right?
I think so.
Yeah. They're different people, right?
Okay, so this is a picture of Mochi right here on the left-hand side.
Good.
And he put up, you know how he spends a lot of time in the beginning looking at the really minute differences in plays and choosing the best play in the very beginning. He knows that's a weakness of his, and he risks losing on time. And he posted a video recently where he actually did lose on time because he had spent so much time earlier. And that can be costly in a tournament match. So this is Mochi. And the person that Alan Kamida has been watching is Michi.
Michi. Okay.
Okay. So that last person was Mochizuki Masayuki, and this is what's Michi's last name? Oh, here, Michihito Kageyama. So, he's the one that says, "Are you ready to roll the dice?" Or, something like that, right? So they're very different. At one time, he was ranked number 3. Mochi was ranked number 2 or number 1 in the world.
Oh, wow.
So they're both really strong players. I've seen Mochi attending Michi's seminars and lessons online. Right? But Michi is the one. See this guy here.
Are you ready to roll the dice? Thank you for coming to my video.
Oh, so where was that thing? He had, I guess we don't see it right now. That picture that we saw originally right there. How do I go back? This is Nono.
Are you ready to roll the dice? Thank you for coming to my channel. I'm Michi Kageyama, a professional backgammon player, ranked number 2 in the world.
Right. So yeah, he became ranked number 2, but now Dirk Schiemann is probably one of the top 2 players. Dirk and Mochi.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find. Okay, so see this thing here on the right-hand side. This figure drawing right here. That's Nono. He's an extraterrestrial, and he helps them with his books. Michi wrote 3 books. Where are they? One of them is Back Checker Strategy. One of them is Opening Concepts, and one of them is the Endgame Technique. Right? And when I started studying backgammon again, those are the first 3 books I bought. The 3 by Michi. Partly to understand for myself, and one of those things was groundbreaking to me, and that was when you make the 5 anchor. The theory used to be that you can play pure, you can slot and try and improve your position on the front side after you have that 5 anchor. That was the prevailing theory for years and years and years and years. But then the neural nets came on board, and they said, no, you should be preserving your racing advantage. Or if you have a racing, you should be, you shouldn't be slotting points. You shouldn't be taking chances. That you should be valuing the race much higher than you are. So that was ground shaking to me. Right? And we were at Coffee Kopi when I read that section, and I had to walk around the parking lot for a little while, just because my mind was blown. Right? It was so revolutionary because that's just opposite of what they were saying for years and years and years. So he wrote books that explain things like that based upon the neural net's teachings. And these books were also written simply enough that it would help me to teach you guys. They're straightforward enough. Okay. All right.
Follow-up question, Mike.
Yes.
One of these guys had a video where they made a move and it did not work out, and he exclaimed, "Oh, big damage." I was howling, but I can't remember which one it was.
It was Michi.
It was Michi.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
because I use that line a lot when I'm playing Kathy.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, because earlier in my backgammon career, I didn't understand things like that. I didn't understand this was a poor sequence for you and how big it was, right? They'd say, oh, this is a big big swing, right? I know that maybe I became an underdog after being a favorite, but I wouldn't realize how big a swing it was, right? But now I'm starting to have a better idea of that. And one thing that in that vein that's really important is understanding volatility. Okay.
Yeah. He just has very entertaining ways of describing things.
He does. So yes, I recommend that you watch his videos, even more than watching Mochi's videos. He's more instructive. And I recommend watching Neil Blazer's videos. He still has a lot of questions about the game. He's not a grandmaster yet, or if he has achieved grandmaster status, he's not one of the top grandmasters. But his way of thinking and asking questions about this will help you improve your game, right? He said, "I'm not sure about this right here, but this is what it appears to be the case." Okay? So that is as instructive as being told this is the right thing. Okay.
Who is that person?
Oh, Nick Blazer, Blasier.
Okay.
So anytime you have a match with two strong players and he's doing commentary, that's a good thing to watch. Okay.
If you have any of those books and you loan them out, could I borrow one of them?
Okay, I can bring them today. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hold them right here. Okay. So book one. I don't remember which order he wrote them in, right? And book two, endgame techniques. Where is it? Right there, opening concepts. And book three, not coming in really well. And this is back checker strategy. Okay, but even though that says opening concept, back checker strategy, and game techniques, he often looks at it from the other side also in these books right here, which you need to understand when you're playing the game. You need to understand both sides. Okay. Anything else? Oh, before I forget, Sue, but let me say that some of the Ikebana you've had recently, I loved them. All right. So I mean, you posted some on the WhatsApp and this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great. Okay.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Very nice. Yeah.
Anything today? So
No, none. Taking a break for a while.
okay. Okay. I will see a lot of you guys pretty soon.
See you later. Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.